Right? So, you know, again, with cancer-related fatigue, it's still important to, you know, get the energy that you need through food. And obviously, sometimes we think that having dessert, which tend to be higher in calories or fat, could be a no-no. But if you're replacing it with the better versions of those, so having less added sugars or choosing healthier fats, again, you're getting a snack or, you know, something that's of a better quality, right? So you're boosting the nutrition value of your food.
Okay, sorry about that. All right. So, yeah, so we're doing sort of like an energy ball. Has anyone seen those energy balls, energy things? You see them everywhere. We're doing sort of our version of it. Again, we picked every ingredient specifically for their benefits. And it actually comes together to form a really, really nice snack. So we're going back to the nuts. We love our walnuts. They're a powerhouse for sure. And we're adding some almonds as well. So about a quarter cup of the walnuts, 3/4 cup of the almonds, so we have about a cup.
Right.
And this is going into a food processor. So this one, again, we're not, you know, we don't need to cook anything. This is a no-cook recipe. We are using a food processor. You know, not everyone might have a food processor, but there are certain pieces of equipment that can also help you with a lot of prep in the kitchen. They keep a lot of the work and energy that you use down. Something like this, like a food processor, you can do a lot of your chopping, a lot of like the heavy duty work. Something to consider if you don't have it.
And so nuts, great source of protein we talked about, help building those muscles and repairing them, providing with energy. They also have fat. Okay, and this is a really important thing. Again, you want to choose the healthier versions. So these are the ones that have unsaturated fats. But fat is really important because not only does it give you energy, but it also helps absorb those vitamins, certain vitamins into your body that otherwise without fat you can't do. But also I spoke about anti-inflammatory foods. So again, with cancer illnesses, often we see that people do have higher amounts of inflammation. And there are medications that can be used, but you could also get these anti-inflammatory foods from, anti-inflammatory properties from your foods. One, again, is those omega-3. And walnuts are that nut that are high in omega-3s. Okay, so including that here was one of the purposes for that. So not only is it a fat, providing you with energy, but it's also giving that anti-inflammatory property.
Perfect. Okay, so those are the first things that go in, and then that's when we turn it on, make it a little loud. And we're pulsing them just until they're pretty finely chopped. So might need a few more seconds. Okay, so this is pretty good. So you can see how they're pretty well broken down. Then we can add everything else. So it's like a two-step. We're adding some dates. We're adding 4 of the larger dates. The medjool dates work well. You can use the other dates, just double the amount. Any of the small dates, they're about half the size of these big dates. So you want to double the amount. If they're fresh and nice and soft, you can add them in as is. As they sit, sometimes you have them in the back of your pantry and they turn to like rock hard. Just soak them in a little bit of hot water. Steep them like 5 minutes. And drain all the excess water, and they'll be nice and soft, and you can add them in. So we're going to put the dates in. We're going to put some hemp seeds. Hemp seeds are delicious. Anyone used hemp seeds before? Yeah, nice, really tasty.
Also a source of omega-3s.
Beautiful. And we're going to add some cocoa powder. So this is the regular sort of baker's cocoa powder. No sugar, nothing added, just the cocoa powder there. So 2 tablespoons in there. And for some seasoning, some spice, we're gonna add some ground ginger. You can switch that up. So if you don't like ginger, if you don't like the flavor of ginger, you can use cinnamon. Cinnamon will work really, really well. Today, actually, because I was out of ginger when I made them, I used cardamom. Yeah. So cardamom's another nice one you can add. So that's a pinch of that.
Just experiment.
The spices, the ground spices. So think of it anytime you open that jar and you smell the aroma, it is slowly escaping. So if you have it sealed most of the time and in a sort of a dark place, like a cool place, it can last like 6 months, a year. They don't go bad. They don't like what am I looking at? Expiry date. They don't go bad on you. They're just the flavor lessens and lessens every month, pretty much. So I would say about 6 months to a month. I mean, I've had cinnamon sometimes, like at home for like a couple years. It's still good. Still use it. Yeah. If it's in its whole form, it lasts even longer. Once it's ground, it starts to expire a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
So your spice in there, and a little bit of vanilla as well. We love vanilla, again, more for flavor. So lid on top, and then we're gonna pulse it again. And just bear with me like 60 seconds. It takes a little bit of time. It really just has to break the dates down. And once the dates are broken down, it'll start to grab onto everything else and pull it together. So you can see how it's pretty much all broken down into a nice, even mixture. But what we're looking for when we mix it is for the clumping to happen. And the clumping happens, the dates help, but also the nuts. As this heats up, the oils of the nuts will start to pull out.
Yeah.
And you'll start to get some, you'll start to see it sort of climb up the sides and clump together. That's what you're looking for. Once that happens, then you can combine it and bind it together. Any questions at this time? No? Okay. I know this is the boring part. When Stephanie does her song and dance. Yeah. What was that? All right, so I can start to see it coming together. You might need a little bit longer, but in the interest of the show, we'll skip on. And again, you can just do this right out of here. Take the motor out.
Yeah. So again, you could do it, you don't have to switch bowls, just using the one that you're already working with to decrease washing.
Yeah. Okay, and again, just wash your hands. And it's the best just to do it with your hands. So we'll grab some, about a couple tablespoons worth, and just squeeze it together. So again, the more you let the motor do the work, it'll just become a little bit easier to do this. But I could feel that it's coming together just by squeezing it. If it doesn't come together, then add a couple more dates. That'll help, or just let it, again, run a little bit longer. So this is a really tiny one, but just so you get the picture.
It's a baby patty.
It's a baby one, yeah. And you can do them like, you see them in like, kind of like little golf balls.
Yeah.
Or you can do them in like these little
They're bite-sized.
bite-size,
Yeah.
patties. And again, this is one, it takes a little bit more time, but it doesn't take a lot of force or energy. You can kind of do it calmly. Like Stephanie said, this is a nice one to do just sitting down. You know, have a seat, have a beverage of your choice, and
Yeah.
yeah.
And we didn't discuss it today because all of our recipes were kind of form, but hydration is really important in terms of helping you feel less tired. So again, everybody's needs are different, but you could aim for at least 2 liters a day. It doesn't have to be water though, okay? That's a fluid. So it could be water for sure. It could be juice, it could be milk, a soy milk, smoothies or soups. Anything that's of that liquid form counts as your fluid. Could be also decaf tea or coffee, or regular. But just note that if you have that caffeinated beverage, it might keep you up later at night. That affects your sleep, right? So only you know what's best. But really making sure that you're getting enough fluid throughout the day to help reduce and manage your fatigue.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can see how these are coming together. They're all kind of different sizes, which is, it's kind of fun as well. These, again, you can store them in the refrigerator after, and they'll firm up even more. You can also put these in the freezer. So I will actually turn these into like squares or bars, and I'll stick them in the freezer.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And then you can take them with you to work, or if you're going for, a walk or whatever it is, they're easy to transport that way. Just put maybe a little bit of parchment or wax paper in between each layer so they don't stick. But again, this is a great batch recipe where you can, double, triple it easy.
Yeah, and again, having something when you're going to appointments or out for the day. Something to carry along in your purse or knapsack.
Yeah. So at that point they're good, they're done. You can, if you want, because they still have some of that oil on the outside from the nuts, you can put some coconut on top, or if you have a little bit of the extra cocoa powder, you can just sort of dust some of that on top of all of them, and they'll have this almost like a chocolate truffle look to them, right? A lot easier to make than chocolate truffles, I'll tell you that. But that's it. Those are our, what do we call them? Ginger, cocoa,
energy patties.
Yes.
Yeah.
Unison.
Yeah.